Everyone, Tim Brown, welcome back. This time we're going to focus on transitions in iMovie. So I have a project open right now and I have a title clip at the beginning and I have a video clip coming afterwards. In between, of course, is where you have your transitions. When you select your first transition, you have none selected by default. And you can tell from the menu that appears along the bottom when you select it. I'm going to explore the other options that we go across. The first option is a star. It's a thematic option. It's very similar to the titles that we discovered earlier. You can also select a transition as a theme as well. If you forget where they are, you can go up to the top where the settings icon is, and you can see the themes up there. Basically what the theme does is it gives your transition a thematic look. So if you look at my transition, my title here, I used one of those themes to make the title. So when I use the transition feature, you notice that it has a very similar graphic element. That's how all the thematic transitions will look. So let's go back to the menu. Next to the thematic option, you have the option for a cross dissolve. When you use cross dissolve, it will just dissolve and go into the next clip like so. Next to the cross dissolve is a slide option. So when you go from one clip to the other, it slides over the other clip. Next to slide is the wipe option. So instead of sliding over, it just sort of wipes over to bring in the other transition. Then last but not least, there's also fade. And fade is very similar to cross dissolve, but instead of it just dissolving into the other, it dissolves to black, and then the other image will appear. Now what's really cool about the editor and the transition feature is that you can also customize it a little bit using this precision editor. You access the precision editor by selecting the arrows just beneath the transition symbol, and you'll see you get this rather interesting juxtaposition of the first clip and the second clip as if they're on two separate layers. What you can basically do here is adjust where you want the transition to begin, both in the first clip and in the second clip. So let's start with the first clip. You see, if I drag this over, I can now determine where I want the transition to come in. If I want the transition to come in all the way at the front, I can do that. See, that's a very fast transition. It doesn't even give the first clip a chance to play, but if that's what I want to do, then I have that option. Or I could just bring it back to the end of the clip where I had it the first time. Likewise, you don't necessarily have to make the transition at the beginning of the second clip. You can choose to bring that transition in way down to the middle of the clip, all the way to the end of the clip if you want. This is the flexibility that the precision editor gives you when you're working with the transition feature. Now, if you look down below, you can see that you can also vary the number of seconds for the transition. And you'll see that the precision editor will adjust accordingly. So if I go to 1 second, it gets a little larger, 1.5, 2.0. So now we have a wider selection when using the precision editor. Okay, there's another sort of haptic or touch interface that also is very convenient to use. I'm going to press my thumb on the dark gray area outside the clips. I'm going to use my other finger and drag it over this precision editor. And you can see that I can actually, by swiping back and forth with my finger, I can also adjust the width that way as well. So while there may be few features here, under the cover, there's actually a lot that you can do with transitions.